Hi, I'm Phil Winder, and in this video I'm going to take you through a few example workflows when working with minimesos and weave scope. Minimesos is great for testing your application against. If you're developing a mesos framework or a mesos application, it's really awesome to have a local cluster to test against. The iteration time between developments becomes really small. So I'm going to just run a simple framework from my IDE using mesos framework, and this is going to start a simple web app. So we can then go to scope and make sure we were actually started the right thing, and we can make sure that our container is starting in the right place. So what we're expecting is to see a new container pop up with the simple training web app. So you can see the master's going off to the internet to get that container, and there we go. Fantastic. Another use case is to actually use minimesos to use as a test platform. So I'm just going to go and start an application, in this case Kibana. I'm going to send a marathon command to marathon to start my application, and it's going to connect to the cluster and start a cluster of Kibana instances. Awesome. So what we can see is that we've got another new container, and this is the mesos framework doing its stuff, and we can actually log into the Docker logs straight from the browser. So this is really great for local development, but this will really become useful when you're doing remote development with minimesos. So we can see that the application is going through its startup process, and in a minute, there you go, it's just sent off its request to start the tasks. So I'm going to close that, and we'll start to be able to see those Kibana instances starting up here. So one thing that Scope makes really easy is the ability to not only see the containers that are running, but also interact with them. So here we go, I can see one of my new Kibana instances here, and this button pulls you into a terminal. So I can actually run commands against the container as if I was actually connected directly in the container. So there I've just run a wget command to get the status of the Kibana instance that's running. And here it's saying that there is an issue with Elasticsearch, you can't connect. That's fine, fantastic. Another simple use case is that people often want to use Marathon to start applications. So let's create a new application called Watcher, and it's going to be a very simple one where I'm just going to connect to mesos and I'm going to try and see what's going on. So watch. Oops, one. Now we need the IP address of the master, and I'm going to have a look at the state.json. I'm going to run it as a Docker container and run it in bridge. Great stuff. Okay. There we go. So that's deploying that now. So remember, this is all against a local cluster. We're not going off to the internet at all. And there we are. So one of these will be our new, oh, that's Kibana. Let's switch to the image view so we can actually see the image names. That's often a bit easier to look at. There we go, there's the Alpine container. So it's an orange colour that we're looking for, a brown colour. And just to make sure, let's actually have a look at the log that it's producing. There you go, that's the mesos state.json being printed there. Fantastic. So another really cool thing is what happens when you scale. So we've got our, let's just turn that off so we can see all the containers. And we can't see our, there it is. So there's our container there. So we're going to scale this application up using Marathon. Okay. So we've just started that, and you can see Marathon is starting to stage it. And in Scope, we can start to see those containers going. So this is really great for when you're talking to operations people to show them what happens when this does actually scale. It's not just an API, it's a visual representation of what's going on in the cluster. And also keep remembering that this is just a standard mesos cluster with standard mesos applications. So we can always connect to our applications in the same way, and for example, we've got the Kibana cluster, which is running within an API in order to control the scaling. Okay, so it's on .8, so I need to post that to .8. And there we go. So we've just told the Kibana cluster to scale back down to 1, and I think you just missed it there, but we just lost one of our Kibana containers. So let's go the other way and scale back up again. So in the same sense that we were scaling via Marathon, it's more than capable of scaling via any APIs that you develop on your own. In this case, we're using Mesos Starter and Mesos frameworks, and that produces frameworks that have a scaling endpoint. And there you go. It gives you a great representation of what's going on in the cluster. Okay, I think that's enough for now. If you've got any questions or you'd like to know more, please get in touch with Container Solutions, go to the Minimesos website, tweet me, send me a smoke signal, an email, any form of communication you prefer. All right, cheers, thanks a lot, bye-bye.